On a stormy night at São Lucas Hospital, the unexpected happened. A majestic tiger burst through the main lobby, causing an uproar among doctors, nurses, and patients. While everyone sought refuge, Nurse Bia stood out for her bravery and composure. Fascinated by the majestic presence of the animal, which didn't seem threatening, Bia noticed that it was gently carrying a small cub, different from its species. As the tiger moved urgently but not aggressively, Bia approached, calmly offering her help. Meanwhile, the head of security, Mr. Carlos, quickly contacted the local authorities about the unusual situation. "We have a loose tiger in the hospital. We need help immediately!" Bia realized that time was crucial to prevent the situation from worsening. She gestured for others to step back and observed the tiger, which, despite its imposing presence, showed signs of exhaustion and fear, its ribs visible under the wet fur. Determined to act, Bia guided the tiger and the mysterious cub to a medical supply storage room, isolating them. Once inside, she locked the door, finding herself alone with the two enigmatic creatures. "We'll get help for both of you," she promised, as the tiger carefully placed the cub on the floor and retreated to a corner, watching Bia's every move with vigilant eyes. While waiting for help, Bia examined the cub, which, despite being exotic and unknown, seemed extremely fragile. Determined to save the innocent creature's life, she used her medical knowledge and the available supplies to stabilize it. Meanwhile, outside the locked room, the hospital began to mobilize under Dr. João's command, preparing for a night of uncertainties. The presence of the tiger and the discovery of the unidentified cub raised urgent questions. Where did these animals come from? Why would a tiger bring a cub of another species to a human hospital? These questions hung in the air, leaving everyone intrigued by the significance of this unusual encounter. As the storm raged outside, Bia felt on the brink of a profound mystery, the answers to which could redefine not only her own life, but also the relationship between humans and wild animals. As the night progressed, the tension at São Lucas Hospital was palpable. Bia kept a constant watch over the cub and the tiger, both of which had calmed down. The cub, now warmed with blankets, showed signs of recovery. Outside the locked room, the chaos had given way to a coordinated operation led by Mr. Carlos, in collaboration with local authorities. The police and an animal control team were present, prepared for any eventuality. The moment was interrupted by the arrival of Dr. João, a renowned specialist in large felines, urgently summoned to handle the situation. Tall and commanding, Dr. João radiated authority and expertise. "What's the situation here?" he asked Mr. Carlos as he approached the room where Bia was with the tiger and the cub. "We have a tiger and an unidentified cub isolated in there," explained Mr. Carlos, pointing to the door. "Nurse Bia is taking care of them. Somehow she's managed to calm the tiger." Dr. João nodded, understanding the gravity of the situation. "Let's see what we can do to help," he said, approaching the door cautiously. On the other side, Bia heard the sounds outside and felt a wave of relief knowing that help had arrived. She carefully opened the door when Dr. João asked for permission to enter, ensuring all necessary precautions were taken. Inside the room, the tiger lay calmly, and the cub showed signs of improvement. Dr. João approached respectfully, examining the cub with curiosity and concern. As the night progressed, the tension at São Lucas Hospital remained palpable. Relieved to have Dr. João by her side, Bia shared her observations about the tiger's behavior and the cub's condition. The specialist listened attentively and began to form a hypothesis. "It seems this tiger may have escaped from captivity. That would explain its familiarity with humans and the presence of this cub, which appears to be a rare or unknown species," Dr. João suggested. He proposed a plan. "We need to transfer both of them to a safer and better equipped environment where we can properly care for them and investigate further." As the news spread, attracting the attention of the media and curious onlookers, Bia, Dr. João and Mr. Carlos coordinated discreetly with the animal control team. Their goal was to organize the safe transfer of the animals, keeping the situation under control and away from public scrutiny. As dawn approached, they prepared for the next step, aware of the importance of every moment, not only for the animal's safety, but also for uncovering a mystery that could redefine the understanding of wildlife and its conservation. The pressure to maintain control increased with the growing presence of journalists and onlookers outside the hospital. Dr. Juon had contacted a renowned wildlife rehabilitation center specializing in the care of large felines and rare species. "They are ready to receive our 2 unexpected patients," he explained, reviewing the final details over the phone. "The center has ideal quarantine facilities to monitor and treat the animals without additional risks." Bia watched with concern, trusting in Dr. Juon's expertise and leadership. Meanwhile, Mr. Carlos coordinated with the authorities to ensure a smooth transfer despite the frenzy outside the hospital. Finally, everything was ready, and the tiger, along with the cub, were carefully transported to the vehicle that would take them to the rehabilitation center. Bia felt a mix of relief and curiosity, knowing that the real investigation was just beginning. Their arrival at the center would mark the start of a new phase, where answers would be sought and new mysteries could be revealed. Dr. Juon felt a special connection with the animals after the tumultuous night and was moved by the imminent separation. "How will we handle the transport?" he asked, watching the tiger rest calmly but alert. "We have a specialized team on the way with the necessary equipment," replied Dr. Juon. "We'll lightly sedate the tiger to ensure a peaceful journey. The cub is stable enough to be transported in a heated incubator." The animal control team arrived with a suitable transport crate for the tiger and a heated incubator for the cub. With careful and coordinated movements, they prepared the animals for the journey. Bia, relieved to know they were in good hands, still felt anxious. As Dr. Juon gently sedated the tiger, Bia approached and whispered words of comfort. "You'll be okay, my friend. We'll take care of you and your cub." With everything ready, the tiger and the cub were carefully placed in their transports, ensuring an efficient and stress-free operation for the animals. Meanwhile, the press was kept at a distance under Mr. Carlos's coordination with the police, ensuring a secure perimeter. The convoy headed toward the rehabilitation center, discreetly escorted by the police. During the journey, Bia reflected on the night's events and the possible implications of what had occurred. Both animals were on their way to a place where they would receive proper care and study. As dawn approached, she felt a mix of hope and curiosity, knowing they were about to uncover a mystery that could reveal much about wildlife and its relationship with humans. At the rehabilitation center, a team of specialists awaited the new patients. The reception was careful, with the tiger being taken to a safe and spacious area, and the cub being placed in intensive care. Dr. Juon, Bia, and Mr. Carlos stayed to ensure a smooth transition and to collaborate on the investigation that would follow. The bond formed during that tumultuous night between humans and wild animals would serve as a powerful reminder of the interconnectedness of all forms of life and the shared responsibility to protect and care for the most vulnerable beings on our planet. During the journey, Bia and Dr. Juon discussed the next steps. "Once they are settled and safe, we'll conduct a series of tests to better understand their conditions," explained Dr. Juon. "We need to identify the exact species of the cub and how it ended up with a tiger." Bia agreed, absorbing the implications of the specialist's words. "And about the tiger, you mentioned that it might have come from captivity. That suggests someone could be illegally keeping these animals." The frenetic routine at the rehabilitation center was interrupted when one of the veterinarians approached with a crucial update. "We've conducted initial tests on the cub and found genetic anomalies. It is believed that it might be a descendant of an extinct species." Bia and Dr. Juon exchanged surprised glances. "This is extraordinary," Bia remarked, aware of the increasing responsibility over the cub. "We must protect it at all costs." "Yes, and that includes keeping everything secret for now," Dr. Juon agreed. "We can't attract unwanted attention." In the following days, the center became a hub of scientific activity. Genetic and conservation experts joined the investigation. Each examination brought new questions as the tiger and the cub revealed more about their mysterious past. For Bia, each day brought new discoveries. She studied the animal's behavior, observing bonds that defied human understanding. The complexity of nature unfolded before her, suggesting there was much more to learn. As the investigation deepened, Dr. Juon collaborated with local and international authorities to uncover the origins of the tiger's captivity and the animal trafficking networks involved. Every clue could be crucial to understanding how this possibly extinct species ended up in such an unusual situation. With Bia vigilantly by the animal's side, recording every detail, the truth behind this mystery was closer to being revealed. The complexity of nature unfolded before them, suggesting there was much more to learn about the tiger and the mysterious cub. As the mystery surrounding the cub intensified, a deep investigation began to reveal secrets that could change the landscape of animal conservation. Dr. Juon and his team collaborated with local and international authorities specializing in animal trafficking, seeking clues to the tiger's former captivity. Discovering how an animal of a possibly extinct species ended up in such an unusual situation became crucial. He contacted conservation organizations and law enforcement agencies to track records of missing or illegally sold tigers, aiming to dismantle active trafficking networks. Meanwhile, Bia documented every relevant detail while caring for the animals. The arrival of genetic specialists brought new hope. Advanced equipment was used to analyze the cub's DNA, attempting to identify its species and uncover its origin. Each discovery was a crucial step in understanding the mystery surrounding these two extraordinary animals. The days flew by as scientists, veterinarians, and authorities intensified their collaboration. Imminent revelations promised to revolutionize our understanding of the relationship between humans and wild animals, emphasizing the urgency of conserving endangered species. For Bia and Dr. Juon, the journey with their unexpected patients was just beginning. The answers they sought could unveil a story of resilience and connection in the animal kingdom, highlighting the shared responsibility to protect the planet's most vulnerable creatures. Meanwhile, Bia continued her meticulous work at the rehabilitation center, observing the tiger and the cub. She documented every interaction, revealing a surprisingly paternal behavior from the tiger towards the cub. These observations would be crucial in understanding the dynamics between the two creatures. On a foggy morning, the team received a visit from Dr. Elena Vargas, a conservation genetics expert. With advanced equipment, she began detailed genetic analyses. The genetic information from this cub could transform our understanding of biodiversity and extinction. I'm here to ensure accurate extraction and interpretation of these data, she affirmed, determined. Under Dr. Vargas's leadership in genetic testing, the team focused on the cub. Initial results indicated that it could be a direct descendant of the Manet tigers, considered extinct for over a century. This revelation stirred excitement among scientists and conservationists, intensifying the urgency to protect the animal's genetic integrity. Meanwhile, Dr. Juon pursued a crucial lead on the origin of the tiger. Based on records recovered from operations against animal trafficking, he identified an illegally operated captivity recently dismantled in a distant country. It's highly likely that our tiger escaped from there, Dr. Juon explained to Bia during one of their updates. We're organizing an expedition to investigate the site and gather more evidence. While grappling with the growing global attention and probing questions from the press, Bia faced challenges at the rehabilitation center. Despite efforts to keep the case confidential, she found herself frequently fielding inquiries from reporters, adding more pressure to her workload. Meanwhile, a team led by Dr. Juon set out for the dismantled captivity site. What they found was astonishing. Abandoned facilities that once housed various exotic species, including tigers. Equipment and documents left behind revealed an extensive and well-organized network behind illegal animal trafficking. The data collected provided crucial pieces of the puzzle regarding how the tiger ended up so far from its natural habitat. Back at the rehabilitation center, Bia and Dr. Vargas prepared for a crucial press conference. They were ready to reveal part of their findings to the world, aware of the potential impact. The truth about the cub, possibly a Tasmanian tiger, and its protective tiger, was about to become global knowledge, challenging old concepts and possibly catalyzing new conservation efforts. As the day of the press conference approached, Bia felt the weight of responsibility increase. The discovery of the cub, possibly a Tasmanian tiger, and the story of the tiger escaping from illegal captivity would certainly draw worldwide attention. While Dr. Juome, alongside Dr. Vargas, finalized the details of presenting their findings, they were mindful of the impact their words would have on the rehabilitation center, where the tiger and cub were adapting to their new environment. Every day, Bia observed closely, documenting behaviors and interactions that helped the team better understand their needs and personalities. The bond between them only grew stronger, offering a rare glimpse into a deeply touching interspecies relationship. Meanwhile, Dr. Juome returned from an expedition with crucial evidence from the illegal captivity site, including videos and photographs documenting animal trafficking. "We have enough evidence to assist authorities in tracking down and dismantling part of this network," he commented, preparing to share this information during the press conference. The conference took place in a large auditorium within the rehabilitation center, with journalists from around the world present and a live broadcast, ensuring the information reached a global audience. Backstage, Bia and Dr. Vargas reviewed their speeches one last time. "Are you ready?" asked Dr. Vargas, noting Bia's nerves. "As ready as possible," replied Bia, taking a deep breath. "It's important that everything goes well today." When the time came, Dr. Juome began by explaining the situation of the tiger found in the illegal captivity, followed by a detailed investigation of the site. Impactful images were displayed on screens behind him. Next, Dr. Vargas presented her findings about the cub. "What we have here is a young Tasmanian tiger, a species considered extinct for over a century. Genetic analyses confirm that he is a direct descendant, suggesting that the species survived in isolation or there was hidden and undocumented breeding." The auditorium was silent, everyone absorbing the implications of these extraordinary revelations. Journalists' cameras captured every moment, broadcasting this surprising story to the world. Bia then emphasized the importance of conservation and protection for both the tiger and the cub. This case highlights the urgency of combating animal trafficking and safeguarding all species from human threats. During the press conference, journalists asked various questions, from details about the captivity to plans to protect the cub and other endangered animals. After the event, as the world absorbed the news, Bia returned to her work at the center, feeling a momentary relief, knowing that the real challenge was just beginning. The story of the tiger and the cub captured global attention, and now it was crucial to turn this interest into concrete actions for wildlife conservation and combating animal trafficking. With international support secured, Bia, Dr. Juome and Dr. Vargas were preparing for the next steps, determined to leave a lasting legacy in the protection of these magnificent creatures and in inspiring future generations. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to our channel. Here, I always bring impactful stories for you. Leave your thoughts about this story in the comments below. God bless you, and until the next video. During the press conference, journalists asked various questions, from details about the captivity to plans to protect the cub and other endangered animals. After the event, as the world absorbed the news, Bia returned to her work at the center, feeling a momentary relief, knowing that the real challenge was just beginning. The story of the tiger and the cub captured global attention, and now it was crucial to turn this interest into concrete actions for wildlife conservation and combating animal trafficking. With international support secured, Bia, Dr. Juome and Dr. Vargas were preparing for the next steps, determined to leave a lasting legacy in the protection of these magnificent creatures and in inspiring future generations. If you enjoyed this story, Please like and subscribe to our channel. Here, I always bring impactful stories for you. Leave your thoughts about this story in the comments below. God bless you, and until the next video.